Hey guys, we're live again. Welcome to the off ramp. Off ramp politics with with your host Thomas Jason Anderson. Live again. This is let's update you. So this is our third live so far. I was up at 2 in the morning this morning when the first attack started there in Venezuela in Caracas. I said it. I said, "Hey, this looks like we're going to capture this guy. Don't be surprised if we wake up in the morning and he's captured." And sure enough, he's captured. So, according to news reports, Maduro has been captured. This was after a 1:50 a.m. attack on Caracas. Several explosions were seen and recorded, seven from what I saw. Most of them happened in Caracas, but over there in the shipping area. Um, but with that, there was a caravan of helicopters, a couple of Chinooks, a couple of other helicopters. It looked like about 10 of them that just went in there. And when I saw it, I said, "Man, this is happening." You could see that when the explosions were happening in and around Caracas, the electricity was still on for most of the city. So this was like a precision strike. Those helicopters went in so fast. It's happening on a holiday weekend. So a lot of people, man, over there in Venezuela were probably drunk, drinking, partying, whatever. 4 hours earlier, there was a Chinese delegation that had arrived in Caracas and they were smiling and having a good old time with Maduro, right? So so this was a total surprise attack. Maduro was just bragging and talking like, "Hey, let's have some serious talks, Trump." Well, now he can have them face to face, I guess, for, with some prosecutors because Maduro's been indicted in the Southern District. He's been indicted in the Southern District, and sorry, I've got this live going. Just so you know, let's switch over so you guys can see. This is live Mar-a-Lago. There's going to be an 11 a.m. announcement, it seems, on the details. I said it last night. I said, we there wasn't any official word coming out of from U.S. sources for the attack last night while it was happening, or even afterwards. And I said, this smells like the reason why we're not saying anything is because we're going to allow President Trump to be the first to talk about this in front of the nation. And that's what's happening. So, I've been watching this show, The Diplomat, on Netflix, and I guess this could be a good episode in The Diplomat. If you guys have seen it, I'm just telling you, man, this is one of those things where all the staff are getting the White House staff are getting together. They're getting everything, all the words right. They're trying to get, the right suit onto the president. It's all about visuals, man. And so, what better visual than holiday season, South Florida, Mar-a-Lago? Look. I mean, it's a beautiful day today in South Florida. I'm wearing a sweater. I don't even need it, but whatever. Wear a little sweater because every once in a while we get a little dip in temperature. We're down in like 65 degrees, so I can throw my sweater on. But that's what it's like today. It's about 65 degrees. It's a clear blue sky, beautiful day. It's the new year. It's 2026, and we're rolling in with literally a new world because Trump is going to have his announcement here. He's going to, he's going to have some things to say, but the world is a different place. It's a world now that none of us have ever known because we've all been living in this Cold War scenario where Russia, along with China, partners with people in our backyard to create problems and to put pressure on us, and putting pressure on us there makes it so that we can't do as much over in other places in the world where they have more of their interest in, and blah 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 blah. It's all Cold War bullshit. And the Cold War is coming to an end. Why? Because a lot of the guys who understand the Cold War and who've been executing it, they're all so old. Most of them are wearing diapers right now. Serious. Like, that's where we are. So that world this to me was the end. This is the end of the Cold War right here. Believe it or not. That's how I view this. And so that's why I've been on top of it so heavy, because it's not that I'm anti. Maduro, I'm pro Maduro. It's not that I'm anti Trump or pro Trump. Nah, man. What I am is I am anti Cold War. I'm sick of that shit. I'm tired of the Cold War. I'm so sick of the Cold War crap. And that's what we've all been forced to live under for so long. This is the end of it. Finally, over. About time. One of the worst. I think we'll look back in history and people will all say, all historians will say, the Cold War was the worst, one of the worst times in human history where some of the worst atrocities happened and was covered up. Just evil, putrid, just horrible. I'm glad it's over. Finally, right? So let's take a look. I don't know if anybody's here. Let me see. What I'm trying to do is unless you register up for my stuff, you can't really see. I can't see your comments. So I've just opened up my Facebook page. Hey, Afras, how you doing? Hey, Hazel. So yeah, so what's next? All right, let me tell you guys what's next. First of all, Trump's going to have this press conference, and this is a big deal. We're talking. I expect to hear on this press conference, basically the story. Hey, Commissioner Cole, look, U.S. kidnapping Maduro is not legal. Oh, so see, this is the other thing that we're going to see, right? We will see whose lives have benefited under the Maduro umbrella of things, right? Not people taking money directly from Maduro, no, but the world is a certain way because of Maduro, right? There are a lot of conflicts going on. There's a lot of corruption because of him, and so uh and there's just a lot. There are industries all around the Caribbean and South America that are due to him, right? And so we are going to see many people in the region not be happy about this, not because they owe their lives to Maduro. No, it's not like that. It's just that they know that the world is going in a good direction for them when Maduro's in power. That's what it is. Right. Well, that's over for a lot of them. So this is a new world for many of you. People in Guyana who are watching right now, new world, guys. A lot of the people, businessmen that you thought were legitimate in Guyana, no, they were puppets of Maduro. We are going to be seeing this now. It's going to unfold. So there will be many people in and around the region who will be upset today. I'm sorry you're upset, but I'm here to tell you that this is the game that Maduro was playing. If you want to if you want to know why he was kidnapped by the US, it's because this is the game he plays. Maduro plays outside of the system. He's a man who thrives under sanctions. He wants American sanctions. Why? Because with American sanctions, he can create a smuggling regime to enrich himself. And he can make his partners happy, like the Chinese. They want a US sanction situation. Why? Because it allows them to get Venezuelan oil on the cheap. That's why they like the Iran. The Chinese love the Iranian situation with sanctions over there. Why? Because they get oil from them from on the cheap. See, the what people aren't realizing, and this is important to understand, guys, right? That we've got a situation now in the world where China has been able to cover up their greatest flaw, which is they don't have oil. They don't. And they've been having to get it below market rate by creating troubles in oil rich countries on purpose. Okay. China doesn't want Venezuela to be a free country. They don't want that because if Venezuela's free, then China has to buy the oil at market rate. They can't get it below market rate. It's pretty obvious. So kidnapping Maduro, what it does is it forces now the Chinese to buy Venezuelan oil at market rate to pay the price they should be paying. What does that do? That enriches the people of Venezuela. So you want to know why they're poor? Well, they're poor on purpose because the Chinese have had be getting all of their oil on the cheap in order for them to prop up their regime. That's a huge weak spot in the Chinese situation that no one has really talked about. That's why you'll see in China they're so focused on doing solar energy. We do more solar power than anybody in the world, and nuclear power, because they're trying to pretend like they don't need oil. They're fine without oil. No, that's a big problem. That's why they've cornered the rare earth market, because they're trying to force the rest of the world to keep giving them free oil. Ain't happening, guys. Sorry, China has to pay now. And the money that they have to pay, which is fair market rate, that's going to rebuild the nation of Venezuela. That's where it's going to go. Sorry, Chinese guys. Sorry. I really don't care about you guys, to be honest, because you guys have been wreaking hell and havoc in our part of the world for a long time now. For a long time now. All because you want cheap oil. It's not right, man. So now you pay the price. So why is this guy being abducted or kidnapped? It's happening because he's protected by the Chinese, and this is the only way you can get at the guy, because they're going to keep him there forever so they can keep getting cheap oil, ripping off the people of Venezuela, making everybody in the region poor. At some point in time, it has to end. It's over now. Sorry, you guys are mad. Hey, Tony. It's a very happy New Year, Commissioner Cole. That's right, Afras. They all. Well, that's right. People are look. You guys are right to point out that what's going to happen in Guyana next. What's going to happen? Because hey, man, with Maduro gone, it's going to shift the power structure throughout the entire region. The whole region has changed now overnight. How does that affect? How does that affect Guyana? I wonder. It's gonna be interesting to see how the fallout on this, not just in Guyana, but like I said before, Cuba is a focal point now. It's a huge point. That's why I say the Cold War is over now, because we're not going to have a Cuba in our 80 miles away from Miami threatening us potentially with nuclear bombs and stuff. That's a big, huge shift. Here in Miami, we grew up, all of us grew up knowing that there was a threat 80 miles away. And that threat was not 80 miles away, it was there in Miami. We are loaded with Cuban regime spies in Miami who terrorize all of us all the time. This is what they do. And if they're not spies, they're drug lords. They're drug lords. They're human smugglers. This is what we have been living under now in Miami, in South Florida, in the Caribbean, in Central and South America now for generations. This is a big move away from that. Okay. And it's not that Maduro was hated by all Americans. Nah, man, there are a boatload of Americans. Look at Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, a mainstream guy, father was a CIA agent. He's been out there saying over and over again, don't attack Maduro, leave Maduro. He's our friend. He's been saying it. There are many, many, many Americans in government, outside of government, in the media who support Maduro. They like the guy because they like the economies of drug smuggling, gold smuggling, human trafficking. These guys get rich off of that over here, and they love it. And so anyone like myself or anyone else who has been vocal and say, hey, man, this is a problem, we need to stop this crap, they come and attack us. These are bad guys we got over here. These are bad people. So good that Maduro is gone. Thank God. Let me see what else is. Guys, keep sending me comments because I'm gonna answer questions today. So this is a big day, guys. This is a big day. Big day. Okay, so who will China pay? Is Commissioner Cole's asking. There is no legitimate leader in Venezuela. Okay, so I don't think Maduro was a legitimate leader to begin with. He stole the last couple of elections. He has attacked the opposition parties. He has used state resources and drug cartels to arrest, maim, and murder anybody who would be his opposition, and he's rigged elections. He's not a legitimate leader. That guy is illegitimate. So we removed an illegitimate guy. That's what's going on here. We removed the illegitimate guy. And what we're allowing now are for the people of Venezuela to choose their path. They couldn't choose their path with Maduro in place. Impossible. Because he was forcing them down the road to be partnered with China and Russia, mainly China, so that the country would stay poor on purpose, so that China could continue to enrich him, keep him in power, while he was giving them basically free oil. Right? I'm just telling you, that's the situation. So this guy had the free oil going to China. He was getting their protection. He was getting their intel and their resources. He was using that to create an international drug smuggling operation, human trafficking operation, gold smuggling operation, billions and billions and billions of dollars flooding the whole planet to corrupt everybody in sight. And he did it after stealing an election and attacking his opposition politically over and over and over again for years. Good riddance. Goodbye, asshole. God. All right, what else we have? Jack Dale, all of them coolie dogs next. Colleen is asking, why did they take his wife? Okay, so my opinion on that is they didn't want him to have Maduro to have any confusion as to whether his family was safe or not. Because the problem that Maduro has is he's the head of a criminal organization. He's the head of straight murderers, killers, right? And so if he's in American custody and all the killers he's been partnered with thinks that he may be talking, well, his wife's life could be in trouble. So they secured his wife. At least he's got that. He knows his wife is safe. So they're going to be asking him for everything: the bank accounts, the key personnel in China who he works with, who the key Russians are, all of that. He's handing it all over. So what you're having now in Beijing and other places is they are burning documents like crazy. They are burning it up. They don't want anyone to know what they've been doing in Venezuela the last 15, 20 years. It's all being burnt to a crisp. All of it. But that's why I think they took his wife too, is so that they could secure her, so that he would know she was safe, because he's got bad guys. He's got the Chinese who will go after her too, to try to pressure him not to talk. I know, good question, Colleen. I don't know about this. I'm sure he has kids. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see. Where are we at now? Yeah, so we still got Mar-a-Lago going here. Yeah, I've got yeah, you guys can seriously leave your comments. I will answer any comments now. On to the regime and Jack Dale and these guys in the PPP. Well, Jack Dale, I think, has a problem because he tried to give Guyana's maritime oil assets to Venezuela. He tried to negotiate some type of agreement with Venezuela to give them some type of maritime cutout. But if you look at Guyana's oil wealth, it's all in the water. It's maritime. So if it was up to Jack Dale, he would have already given Venezuela, you got the oil your country has already. I'm not sure what part of, but I'm sure if Venezuela was asking for a maritime concession, Venezuela wanted your oil. And this guy, Jack Dale, was debating it. He made a public statement that it might be a good idea to give these guys a maritime concession. Well, what kind of maritime concession was that? Was it your oil, guys? So guys like Jack Dale, I think, have some questions to answer if you ask
Listen,
me,
it's
bro.
called Connect Team, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore.
And it works?
Oh,
We got ads running here on YouTube. Okay. Let me look at the comments, guys. What route are you talking about, Quasi? What route? He did not go what route. Oh, you're talking about Jack Dale? I don't, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I don't know what he was talking about with that maritime concession, but that's a problem. I don't care what anybody says, bro. That's a serious problem. People can say what they want. This man tried to give Venezuela a maritime concession. What was that about? Please explain that. Because all I know is Guyana's oil is in the maritime area. So what kind of maritime concession were we talking about? And why was he even talking about giving them a maritime concession? Think about that for a second. Why? That bridge in Guyana that's named after Barat Jagdeo, that's a Chinese-built bridge. I don't know. I'm just telling you guys, okay? I'm just looking at it, and I'm just telling you what it looks like from the outside, and it looks like Jagdeo has a partnership with the Chinese, bro. Sorry. He got a bridge built by them that they slapped his name on. He's trying to give away maritime concessions to Venezuela. And then let's not talk about Sue and the Vice report that came out. So yeah, there are questions to be answered here. These are serious issues now. Maduro's in the hands of the U.S. What's he going to tell us about Jagdeo next door? What's he going to tell us about the guys next door is the question. How about the Colombians? What's he going to say about those guys? Man, lots and lots of questions. The answers, I think, are going to be very interesting because the problem with Guyana and all these guys in that region, a guy like Jack Dale, the problem with him is he's a wheeler dealer. He's always trying to cut a deal. And the problem is you're cutting deals down there with people who are murderers, who are drug traffickers, human smuggler, all of that is who you're cutting deals with. On the surface, it looks like it's business guys. It's legitimate business. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. Everybody knows that all that legitimate business is being financed and backed by illegal stuff. Everyone knows this. And so all the wheeler dealers in the region that have been down there wheeling and dealing, making all this money, getting all this power, let's find out who you really are. Let's find out if you've been partnered up with Maduro. We're about to find out, guys. We are going to find out the truth. I'm not saying that Jack Dale is a Venezuela guy. I'm not. All I'm saying is questions are hanging in the air now. And we need answers. Everybody needs answers. What are those answers going to be? Bro, chickens are coming home to roost. People got to answer now. That's what's so good about this. People can cry all they want, but there are many, many people in that region, next door and all around, who are going to have to answer for the stuff that they've been doing with Maduro and before him, Chavez. And if you look at Guyana, you had guys like, for example, R. Allen Stanford. What's up with that guy and what he was doing? Billionaire Ponzi schemer. He's in a Florida jail now. What was up with that? All these things are about to be answered, guys. We're about to get the answers to this. Trump's coming on soon, and I'm sure he's going to have a pretty wild tale to tell, okay, of how this went down. And I have to say, this was surgical. This is not some clown show. This also shows we're nothing like the Russians, right? The Russians claim that, they're this and that. But when they went in on their little special operation, right, which started in 2014 in Ukraine, it's still going on. 11 years later, and the special operation in Ukraine is still going on. Think about that. And so what does our military do? We go in and we were told by the Russians and the Chinese and everybody in the region, if you go in there and take Maduro out, you're going to start another Vietnam War. You're going to be stuck in there the way the Russians were stuck in, and you have been stuck in Ukraine. You can't get it done cleanly. You guys are stupid. You're American. You know what you're talking about, Americans. You guys are stupid. Okay, that's what was being said. Well, let's look at reality. The reality is the Russians look stupid because they've been fighting in Ukraine now 11 years and they're still fighting. Stupid. Here we are in Venezuela. We went in and in 2 hours, we cleared it out. Clean, surgical. We didn't even knock out all the electricity in the city. They've still got everything going over there. There's people chanting USA in Caracas right now. That didn't happen in Ukraine. Ukraine is a clusterfuck. Hello? So I look at this and I say, well, we've just sent a message that, first of all, we don't play games. And secondly, when we move and we get the job done clean, straight up. We don't do this stupid stuff that the Russians are doing with meat shields and all that bullshit. Those guys are full of it. Sorry. They like to war just to war. That's not us right now. We're not warring in Venezuela just to war. We're getting rid of a serious problem in our backyard who has been corrupting our government for a long time now. He's been corrupting the entire region. He's a drug lord. He's a terrorist. Yeah, we got him. Of course we got him. Give me a break. Get out of here. Get out of here. Let's find out, Quasi. We are about to find out for real what's up here. That's what's beautiful about this. Yeah, but guess what, Quasi? Ukraine had help in Europe. Venezuela is supposed to be getting help from Russia and China. That's what we were told. Venezuela has Iranian military assets. They have Iranian drone bases in Venezuela. They've got the FARC in the jungles to fight for them. The Colombian president said he's willing to fight with Venezuela. This isn't something where this is all so easy, like, oh yeah, no. This is some serious stuff going in there. And we went in there surgically and got the job done without a mess. With the FARC sitting there with their fingers, their thumbs in their mouths in the jungle, they don't know what happened. They're supposed to be this guy's protectorate. Where are they at? In the jungle playing games? Give me a break. Meanwhile, their guy is gone. That's what just happened. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Jack Dale and Ali and all. I know these guys have a lot to answer for. Sorry, people. These guys have a lot to answer for. It's about time. It's about time. I'm telling you, it's about time. This is crazy. And then here, the part that's really getting me that I don't think people are realizing yet, right, is just how these dominoes are going to fall. See, it's not, there are so many business people, not just in the Caribbean, in the United States and Canada and the UK. These people are not legit. They've been building their businesses that look legit off of straight up drug cash, gold smuggling cash, weapons smuggling cash, human trafficking cash. This is what they're living off of. The biggest drug lord in the world right now is that Canadian snowboarder guy. Isn't that interesting? Canada. Think about Canada's relationship to this region down here. If you think about it, you can start connecting dots pretty quick, and you start to see things like Drake gets hit with a RICO lawsuit because they're trying to figure out how he's somehow, some way laundering cash into his music streams somehow. And they're like, where's this money coming from? Well, I don't know. Drake's Canadian. There's a few Canadian rappers having problems right now when it comes to streaming and where they're getting their funds from on that. And you've got this Canadian drug lord down here. He's in Mexico. They just got his motorcycles. I don't know, man. I think we're starting to see some pieces moving here. I think Jay-Z said he's gonna flee to the UK or something. Let's take his family to the UK. That whole music business thing, when people go look at it, when the historians go look back on it, we're gonna see the reason why rap is so popular is not because it's so popular, it's because it's the number one money laundering vehicle. They've been money laundering drug proceeds through the rap business for a long time now. Period. I'm just telling you. That's what's up. And if you want to know the roots of it, it comes from prohibition, bootlegging. The same people who were bootlegging and controlled the nightclub scene up and down the East Coast for the bootleggers running liquor up and down. When prohibition ended and bootlegging went away, drugs replaced it. And so instead of them bringing alcohol up, they were bringing drugs up. And those drugs is what was paying the artists in the clubs to perform. That was the cover. The clubs were the cover for all of this, uh, for all the alcohol smuggling that happened under prohibition, but then turned over into the drugs. And so when these guys, artists, are in these clubs performing, James Brown, all these guys, what happens? They go mainstream because technology happens. And when they went mainstream, now you've got record sales. And so they were finding ways the rap industry especially has found ways to get this drug money into the system to finance their sales. And that's why rap is off the charts and it does so well. It ain't because it's popular. I'm telling you, it is popular. But the main reason why is because they're laundering money, man. And this thing with Maduro is going to end that. So I don't know if we're going to see the same rap industry now. I think rap music is going to change. Music is going to change from this. As crazy as that sounds, I'm telling you, that's what we're seeing here. That's how big people do not realize how deep Maduro's reach was into American society. We're about to find out. Not just American society, all over the world. Well, that's true, Quasi. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I did see I know, Jason, we do. I know, that's what I've been saying. So if people pay attention, like, look, the US, we just signed a security agreement in the region with France and the Netherlands. What's that telling you? That's telling me a lot, right? It's telling me pieces are moving, things are shifting. And the main thing we're going to see now is who else are we talking about in the news? They keep talking about Iran. Well, here's where Iran and Venezuela connect. Not only are they connected militarily, but Iran has been running oil through the Panama Canal to China using the flags of other nations like Guyana in the region to get around sanctions. Okay? That's over. And now they're talking about Iran and military action. Well, if you think about it, if you take Venezuelan oil off of the space for China and you take the Iranian oil off, this is sanctioned oil we're talking about right here. Where this is below market rate oil that the Chinese have been getting now for a long time. If you take that off the market for them and now they have to pay full market rate for oil, man. So this talk about Iran, all of this is screaming out to me that this is a US-China thing, period. This is it. Russia has been crushed in the middle of it. They got caught in the middle of this crap. A lot of people have been caught in the middle. Maduro is now the next victim caught in this. But at the end of the day, all of this is bringing an end to the Cold War, and it's ushering in a new world. And I don't know if we have the right words to describe what this new world is. I don't think we do. I don't. I keep saying the reason why I say it because I see the new world we're entering as a world where by 2030 we may have a president of Cuba named Marco Rubio. Could anybody even imagine that 30 days ago? And so just imagine that world. We're going into a world. It's almost like an alternate reality has been busted open here, right? Where all of a sudden the new president of Cuba is Marco Rubio. What? That's where we're going. That's where this is headed. Yeah, rear. I think Jack Dale has some issues. I don't know. I really do think Jack Dale. So if anyone wants to know what I'm saying, when I say Jack Dale, there's the vice president of Guyana, Bharat Jack Dale. I think this guy has some issues now. I'm not saying that he's a Maduro guy. What I'm saying is he so Jack Dale came into power while Maduro was at his apex of power at the same time, and they're neighbors. So it's almost impossible for you to rise in power that way with Maduro at the highest peak of his power for the two not to have crossover. There's crossover there. We just don't know what it is. And that crossover, depending on what it is, could mean a lot for a lot of people. We just don't know what it is. Yes, Jason, a massive, bro. We've got what this is one of those deals where they turn the kitchen light, the kitchen light on, and the roaches, bro, are everywhere. And they're like pew 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 pew. that's what that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a roach extravaganza right now. The Petro Caribe deal. Yeah, Quasi. Yep. Yeah. I know, Mary. That's what I'm saying. That thing when Jack Dale offered that maritime concession to Venezuela, man. Mm, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. That's a problem. I'm not saying the actual talking about it's a technical problem. No, what I'm saying is that's a sign that there is other things going on below the surface between Jack Dale and Venezuela. That's what that's a sign of. There's something beneath the tip of the iceberg under that water that's in there. I don't know what it is. It could be nothing. It could be something simple. I don't know. But there's something under the waterline in that region when it comes to the government of Guyana and Maduro. There's something under that waterline, and it's dark, it's cold, and it's scary. And it's going to come up above the surface, and we're going to see it. I don't know what it is, but it's coming, guys. And that's why I'm doing these lives, because I'm telling you, it's coming. Whatever bodies they've put down under there, they're surfacing now, guys. Let's see where we're at. So we're still waiting on the star of the show to arrive, President Trump. And so here's the deal on that, right? Just so everyone knows, it's 11:34. We're supposed to be started at 11. When I did some work out in Los Angeles, I did some TV work, helping Fox Sports put together a couple TV shows. Colin Cowherd, which, man, that guy, what a talented guy.
We know that running a small business is
one of my
big
favorite.
That's why Melio provides the simplest and fastest way to send and receive business payments online with ACH bank transfers.
In Hollywood, in television. Just an ultimate professional. I'm not saying he's a good guy person. I never hung out with him personally, but I just know just a professional through and through, and just had a good energy to him, right? Where he wasn't killing the energy in the room. A lot of these guys are so maniacal and they're narcissists and they just kill the energy in the room. And not this guy. Definitely not this guy. He's not killing the energy in the room. Really good guy. And so he had a saying, because this was the thing I noticed, that every time we had a meeting, this guy was always late. And I was just like, for a guy to be so professional, why is he? That just makes no sense to me. You can't be that professional and then always be late all the time to meetings. And so I asked him, I said, bro, man, why are you always late to meetings? What's up with that? Because I know you're a professional. That's just not what's going on. And he was like, well, that's our unspoken rule out here. I go, what unspoken rule? He goes, well, all these producers, the executive producers, the writers, the editors, they all think that they're the ones who make these shows, right? They think they're the ones who make the shows happen. Without them, it couldn't happen. And so, as talent, people like me, we're late to meetings on purpose because I'm sending the message that the show doesn't start without me. As a matter of fact, the show doesn't happen without me. And so that's what Colin, he would be late to every single meeting because he was sending those staffers a message that without him, nothing happens. And so I'll apply this now to what's happening now in the White House. It is now 11:37 a.m. We were supposed to hear from the President of the United States at 11 a.m. concerning the strikes, the military strikes on Caracas last night at about 1:50 a.m. Those strikes were followed by a caravan of helicopters, special forces helicopters. I saw at the time, I said, hey, looks like they're going after this guy, which they did. They apparently got Maduro. They've taken him to another country. And we are now going to hear from the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, on the details of what happened here and what, from his perspective, what this is all about. So we're waiting now, and it's 11:37 a.m. He was supposed to start at 11 a.m. And like I said, man, this is him doing like what Colin Cowherd said. He's sending a message to everybody around the world, everybody, that without him, the world doesn't go round. And so he's making everybody right now watch. It's 11:38 now. They're all the world is watching as the star of the show waits and forces everybody to realize that the world doesn't go around without him. That's what this is. That's why he's so late. It's as simple as that, guys. Yeah, Mary, I think that was it. Yeah, Simone, they did. Russia and China got the middle finger big time. They did. And so, hey, Peggy. Oh, Peggy's on. Good morning. Happy New Year. And so, what's the best way to put this? The big thing we're going to see here, and it's not something that I don't know if we can really. I'm going to try to cover it and point to these things, but it's going to be hard to cover because a lot of what's happened in Venezuela has been under the surface. It's been subterranean. Oh, looks like we're going. Okay, we're live. President Trump, here we go.
Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicholas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer, all perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far, with capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills 25, on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, many, many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over in particular the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they call police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, 2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're walking their daughters, they're walking their children, their wives, they walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military, and I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. It just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana. and we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the
All right, so everyone could hear now. Let me look at the comment section. Okay, so a few things I picked up from the press release, from this presser by President Trump. So the first thing I'd say is that I know now that they used something, a special piece of equipment, okay, for this raid. And it's a piece of equipment I know about. You know, I have family members in the military, Navy, others, Army. And there is a device that we have in our military that they put it in an airplane, and they fly the airplane over a city, and this thing can take out all electrical devices within a radius. All. I'm talking about vehicles, radios, anything that uses electricity. This device we have shuts it down. Period. So that's what I think we used on this attack. It sounds like that Trump insinuated on that. Well, guys, so check it out. Exactly, Jason. So check this out, guys. I think everyone should know this now, and you, especially people in the region. Things are going to change so fast. I don't know if you guys are ready. I have been saying this for a long time. You need to start grouping together. You need to start organizing. You need to start planning your futures, regardless of who's leading your nation right now, because guys, things are going to change so fast. You have to be ready. You have to be prepared. Now, this is not bad. Trump just said, we are taking over Venezuela. Okay. What does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of oil workers in the United States. We have tens of thousands. And our oil guys, they are the experts of the experts. And so we're going to be going down into Venezuela. And within less than a year, we're probably going to be getting them at around 2 million barrels coming out of that place a day. I think that's where we're going to be at. We're going to be getting 2 million barrels out of them within a year, and we're going to be hitting 3-4 million barrels within 2 years or whatever, right? So the amount of oil wealth is going to be exponential. It's going to explode. And the thing that's so crazy about it is all of these barrels that are going to be, not only will more oil be coming out of Venezuela, but it's going to be sold for more. Because what's happened as of late is not only is Venezuela not producing oil, but on top of that, the oil that they are producing, they're selling it for below market rate to China. Right? And so that's over now. Now the country gets to produce more oil, and on top of that, they get to charge 2-3 times the amount they've been charging. I mean, I don't think people understand how much money that is. That's how much the people of Venezuela have been getting robbed. Okay? Seriously. So we're about to see just exactly black gold era is back. That's right, Jason. Okay, well, here's the thing, Commissioner Cole. So Venezuela's oil it's been being taken by China up till now. Okay? Flat out. China's been taking the oil. So was I okay with China taking the oil? Yeah, I didn't say a word. You didn't see me on my platform, Commissioner Cole, getting mad at China for destroying the economy of Venezuela because they're so greedy and they want to take all of the oil from the people of Venezuela without having to pay. I never said a word. What I said was, I stay silent. Why? Because the people of Venezuela were choosing that. That's what they were choosing. And they were also choosing a mad dictator. Well, what happens when you choose a mad dictator to be your leader? Okay, well, ultimately, that guy is going to be taken out like a mad dog. Now, great thing for us is nothing violent happened. We're just going to throw him in jail, but he's facing serious charges in the Southern District of New York, Maduro is. We're bringing him to justice. This isn't a deal where we're just going in and robbing the country of, no. We're bringing a criminal to justice, a drug lord to justice. Him and his wife were both indicted in the Southern District of New York. And on top of that, we're ending this reign of Chinese theft of Venezuelan oil. It's over. No more. So we're ending that. So do I feel bad about that? No, I don't. I don't. Just like I didn't feel bad when China was stealing all the oil from Venezuela up until I didn't feel bad about that. I don't feel bad about what's happening now. If anything, I feel better about it because I don't think China has any business over here. I don't. Culturally, they do not belong here. So they shouldn't be raping Venezuela for all their oil, forcing the entire region into a hellhole because they want cheap oil, because they want to run around the world and pretend like this Belt and Road, we build it all, we do it all. But underneath all that stuff they're doing is the raping of the Venezuelan people and the stealing of their oil. That's over now. They've also been raping and pillaging the Iranians. The Iranian situation is 100% China's doing. Why? They want a maniacal regime in place. They want the sanctions in place so they can continue to steal the oil from the people of Iran. Sorry, I got things going on over here. I'm doing a live. I'm on live TV. It's my daughter. My daughter's like, oh no. It's so I think what we're headed, where we're headed, guys. I think the situation we're headed for right now is one where we really don't know what's going to happen going forward. We don't know. We have no idea. We don't know how this situation is going to work with the United States, us running Venezuela. Like that could turn into a total clusterfuck. Total cluster. This us running Venezuela. Why? Because you've got the bandits in the jungle, you got the FARC guys in the jungle. They might want to come down and do some stuff, right? The president of Colombia, he's a little prickly. He might want to start some war with us. He might want to come in and he might want to take over Venezuela. The president of Colombia, he might want a broader war. Maybe the Chinese push him to start a war. So these are big problems that we're looking at. But I don't know, man. I think Trump said that that we had a second wave prepared that was much bigger. I think that was the deal with any forces that Colombia or anyone else would send on behalf of China. That we were going to wipe them out too. And I think they decided it's not a good idea to end our lives for China. I don't think anybody over here wants to stop what they're doing because of China. Ain't nobody doing that. People will take Chinese money, but they're not going to end their lives for Beijing. Why? That's a waste of time. Well, a waste of a life. So that's where we're at. Where I think on that is that we've got some problems considering that China's going to want to create a Vietnam situation there. Why? Like I say, China wants free oil or bottom barrel oil. They need economies of countries struggling and hurting so that they can feed their people and make a bunch of money. And so it has been in their interests for a drug lord to be running the biggest oil producing country in our part of the world outside of us. That's to China's advantage, because that way they can get the oil for cheap. And that guy in charge can abuse and beat down and murder anybody who says anything that says, no, we don't think China should be stealing our oil. Well, Maduro would just kill those people. So he was the perfect guy for these guys. He's gone now. So I don't know how they run their operation, China. I expect a serious blow to their economy here, because this is a lot of oil they're losing, a whole lot. And for them to get it back, they're going to have to buy it through us, which means they're paying market rate. Ouch. Let's see what else is going on. I agree, Commissioner Cole, that yes, Jason. First of all, investment is ripe for young people, for the young people. Absolutely 100%. Commissioner Cole, I think I looked at it and I said to myself, I wonder if it wasn't the Chinese delegation that gave up Maduro's spot. No, Commissioner Cole, Trump kidnapping Maduro is not the lesser of two evils, because he didn't kidnap him. Trump apprehended him. He is a criminal. Maduro is a wanted criminal. I think there's $50 million wanted reward out for Maduro right now. So, maybe if someone collects that $50 million, there could have been enemies within Commissioner Cole who snitched on the guy, right? But this was not a kidnapping. This was an apprehension of a criminal who we've been trying to apprehend for a long time now. And as Trump said it's because this guy has flooded our country with drugs, with drug money, with corruption, with prostitution, through human smuggling. He's sent gangs up in here. He has been terrorizing our country. He's been bribing government officials over here on all levels. We've got Homeland Security people who have been bribed. We've got FBI who have been bribed. We have elected officials who have been bribed by Maduro, members of Congress. Okay? That's how wicked and evil this one man has been. So no, this is not a kidnapping. This is an apprehension. And as everyone can see, this is not one of those deals like Vladimir Putin, where we destroy the entire city to get one guy. The Russians could have went after Zelensky if they knew what they were doing surgically and got rid of that guy. That's not what they did. Instead, they do the meat shield bullshit and dropping drones and destroying everything in sight. This is all they understand to do. That's their mindset, the Russians, man. They're not trying to get solutions to problems. They're trying to create more problems out of problems, because the more problems there are, the more money they make. That's it. And so Ukraine is a problem. Putin loves it. And if it's not Ukraine, some other country is going to be a problem. And he will continue to create problems, because that's the Russian culture, is to create problems, because when you create the problems, you create cash opportunities for yourself. That's all they are. That's literally who the Russian people are. If you want to boil it all down, they are a culture of people who create conflict to get paid. This is what they do. Don't know what else to say. Yeah. Well, he got arrested, Commissioner. Okay, so Venezuela is controlled by the U.S. Yeah, so that's the thing. Yes, Mary, China owns the gold mining company in Guyana. Yes, they do. So this is why all this stuff is going to be coming into play. I'm sorry, reading the comments here. And somebody said if Venezuela is controlled by the U.S., Venezuela claims that Guyana belongs to Venezuela. Now America is running Venezuela. What he's saying is that we could take over Guyana. Oh, no, not going to happen. We culturally, we're not like that. I know that people are like, no, Americans, all we do is go and colonize everybody. No, we don't, bro. We're not good at that. The Brits are really good at that. They have entire systems that they implement to keep civilizations of people locked down for generations, hundreds of years. The Brits know how to do that, man. There are other cultures, the Chinese know how to do it. The Turks know how to do this. America, we don't know how to do that. We're our country, our culture, we're made up of hundreds of millions of people who all fled the UK, Chinese, Turkish, Russian style of colonialization, basically, of taking over entire cultures for thousands of years and usurping all their wealth and controlling everything they do and everything they eat and everything they say and their religion. They force religion on people, and they have entire these guys are masters at that. We are not. We suck at that. So every time we try some colonialist crap like that, it utterly fails. It fails. It fails. You can look at South America as a perfect example. We tried to colonize that place. Look at it. We did a horrible job. All we did was open the door up for our enemies to colonize the place. That's what we did. That's how bad we're at this. So no, us running Venezuela isn't that bad of a thing for this reason, because we don't know how to implement regimes that take control of a people and force religion down their throats and all that for 300 years. We don't know how to do that. The Brits know how to do it. Trust me when I tell you, they know how to do that. We do not. We've got no clue. So it's actually kind of good, because our thing is we're going in there for what reason? I'll tell you why. We have a bunch of Venezuelans here in the United States who are our friends, who we have given shelter to, who we have protected. We have a boatload of Cuban Americans here who were chased out of their country, who we have protected, and we have we have given their children educations, the best educations in the world. We have helped these people escape tyranny and be able to build a life here in America. That's what we did. We've done that. And now that we've done that, all of our connections are to these people who we have been helping now for generations. And so how are we going to do this in Venezuela? We're going to do this with all of the Venezuelans who have been hiding here from Maduro and before that Chavez. Many of them college educated, many of them very smart, very intelligent. It's not us, guys. It's going to be them. That's who's going to be running that country ultimately. Our interest is the oil, but it's not for making profits. Our interest is the oil for global security reasons, because we cannot continue to have a situation where China and Russia are impoverishing nations in our backyard, creating hellholes in our backyard so they can get under the market priced oil. Screw you. That alone creates so many problems for so many people around the world. It's time China started paying for their own oil, bro. Stop playing games, creating chaos so you can get cheap oil. It's some bullshit. It's time to end, and this ends it. So we're going to see what the world looks like with China having to pay for their oil now, instead of getting it free and off the backs of the people of Venezuela. Let's see what the world looks like now. I'm telling you, it's going to look totally different. And it's going to benefit all of us in this region, not to have China beating everybody down because they want cheap oil. I'm sorry. It has to end, and it's ending now. And that's what's funny is the news coming out of the region down there is everyone says America wants to steal the oil. We don't need to steal Venezuelan oil. We have more oil than everybody already. We have a crap ton of oil. We've got oil all over the place. We're not stealing oil. What we're doing is we're stopping the Chinese from stealing oil. That's what we're doing. And it's about damn time, because we're in the year 2026, and it's not right that a superpower comes down and decides they're going to impoverish an entire region and create a hellhole because they want cheap oil. Screw you, man. Screw you guys. Yeah, Nigeria, yes. That's right, Jason. That's where we're going. We are the Caribbean. Everyone is headed in our direction now. In our direction. If anyone wants to know, well, where is America headed? It's real simple. We're headed in a direction that the people in the region want to go. Why? Because that's who we are. Look at our Congress. Look at our members of Congress. I promise you, a bunch of the members of the Congressional Black Caucus, their families are from the Caribbean. If you go throughout our government, people on all levels, FBI, local cops, CIA, chefs, airport workers from the Caribbean, from these nations. And so what are we going to be doing down there? We're going to be doing what these people want to do, what Americans here who are from there want to do. That's what we're doing. That's great. How is this bad? Yeah, no, Russia is silent, but remember, they've got their guy in the opposition party, right? They've got a family member in there, so, you know. I'm not sure how much percentage Guyana is getting from the USA for the oil. It's not that much. I know it's not a high percentage. This is what people are mad about. But the thing that Guyana also gets with us, with the United States in the oil situation, is the security. Because without us, Maduro would have already taken Guyana's oil. As a matter of fact, like I said, they were looking to take Guyana's oil before people knew there was oil, because they were trying to force a maritime concession out of you guys over a decade ago. Why was Venezuela trying to force a maritime concession? Because they knew there was oil in those waters and they were after your oil then. Okay? And I'm sure the Chinese were behind that. Come on now. If you think about it, right? What does China want in Guyana? They want a sanctioned Guyana. Why? Because if Guyana is sanctioned, then they can get oil for below market rate from you guys. They can basically steal your oil from you. That's what I've been trying to tell you guys for all this time. The danger you guys are facing is the sanctions regime. And the sanctions regime comes when the Chinese get into your country and they start allowing drug lords and others to do all kinds of crazy mess that forces the United States to put you under sanctions. And then once you're under sanctions, then the Chinese get all your oil for free. This is what's been going on. This is what they do. It's some bullshit, man. It's finally over. They can't do this anymore. People are on to the game. So what does China do now that they can't get their free ride in South America? I don't know. But screw those guys. Tired of those guys. They've caused so many problems in our world. It's ridiculous. It's about time we put an end to some of their crap. This is part of it. That's right, Jason. Bharat Jagdale comes under the microscope again. That's exactly it. This guy was in talks with Venezuela to give away a maritime concession. This is a problem. And it was happening right when you guys were starting to really start to find oil. Think about it, man. Big problems here. So yeah, this is where we're at, guys. This is amazing. I'm shocked. I'm amazed. I don't know, man. I'm happy. The world, what a way to enter 2026. And once again, Happy New Year to everyone. But let me just say this. Our military has once again shown the difference between us and the rest of the world. We have been getting a bad rap, I understand. People have been talking trash about us for so long now that we are so, but this operation proves that we are surgical, we are professional, we get the job done, and we don't play games. We don't try to create chaos to make money out of it. We're trying to create order for money to be made, because this is our backyard. We are into our own security. We know that having a wild and crazy northern part of South America with Venezuela and stuff, we know what that does to us as a nation. And what it does is it brings violent drug gangs into here. It brings drugs into here. It brings weapons into here. It brings human slaves into here. It brings bribing of government officials into here. We get all of that chaos and mess from just one thug leader in one country in South America. That's how pivotal the security situation is between the United States and everybody else in the region. That one country alone can create that much madness. That's the issue. And that's what we're tackling, and that's what we're dealing with, and that's what Trump was talking about today in this press conference. I give President Trump all the credit in the world. This is actually a good day for everybody, and I'll keep everybody up to speed on this. I'm going to be looking into the Maduro indictment next and breaking that down. But in the meantime, if I don't see you guys, please have a great weekend. Hey, man, Happy New Year again. This has been great. We will talk soon. This is the Off Ramp. Thomas Jason Anderson. Have a great day.